Hi, my name is Chef Fregz. I'm born into a family of two. Growing up as a child, I always say this a lot, I really love to eat. The name of my company is Chef Fregz. Most of my staff are still contract, but we've grown from contract from once a month to a more steady contract basis. We're a team of 6 or 7 per time, a minimum of 6. I know it sounds small, but trust me, it's enough. We've gone from making thousands to a couple of bigger figures, let me put it like that. And that's, and it's in our balance now. We're just getting to that next level of doing business. Chef Fregs before was a lot of contract stuff, a lot of, just direct business, but now it's getting into that real organization structure, and it's looking good. I just remember growing up around good food, tasty food. And at a point I started thinking to myself, instead of eating this food, how about I, try and make it myself? So I remember one time, because my parents were out a lot, my mom had to be in the store a lot. So after she drops us from school, or we follow some other parent who will drop us home, my mom still had to be at her store to make sure everything was all right. Then my dad was traveling a lot. So we're at home a lot with, the nanny or the maid. And, when they were making us dinner, there was nothing else for us to do. We hung out wherever the maid was, we just chilled with her in the kitchen, and I started picking up a few things, how to make fried rice. But I remember trying to make scrambled eggs. So, because I'd eaten it somewhere, my mom took me somewhere, we had scrambled eggs, and I thought, oh wow, this is really awesome. So I came home and I tried to make it. And I put the scrambled egg out, I fried the whole egg, and I tried to take it out with a fork and knife. And my father saw me, said, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm trying to make scrambled eggs. So he showed me how to make them. So I just, those early days, my interest was very piqued. And by the time I was 10, I started trying, I was making my own breakfast. If nobody was around, I could do something by myself. Then by the time I got to Lagos, I was just cooking a bit more. I was obsessed with BBC food. I was writing recipes a lot. But by university, I went to Covenant University, and they hammered on the fact that your vision for the world is very important. It's not just a degree you come and get here. You need to leave knowing that you have a mission. And I remember we take a course called TMC, the Total Man course. And I remember the lecturer saying, what are you passionate about? So what you're passionate about would, you could make something out of it with your life. That's how to know what you're meant to do. I was at a conference, Father Dorothea was speaking, and he said, what you can do for free is probably what you should be doing with your life. So I thought, you know what, I'm really happy cooking. I really enjoy cooking. Like, it gives me satisfaction that you can't put money on. And I thought to myself, let me give this a shot. People would always eat. I decided to set up a food business. I got a name for it, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I just said, I was going to do this. After school finished, I went to do NYSC. I served in Kaduna, and I was cooking every time. So coming back to Lagos, I thought, you know what? This is a time in my life where nobody's making decisions for me. I thought for a while, and I came home and said, I'm going to do this food business. With nothing, literally nothing. I had nothing. I used to borrow my neighbor's barbecue stand to grill chicken and take to people. So I met Mrs. Yonde Zacchaeus. We go to the same church. Church was having this career day, and everywhere else was full apart from event planning. And Mrs. Yonde Zacchaeus was there sitting down. For those of you who don't know, Mrs. Yonde Zacchaeus is one of the greatest event planners ever. She runs a company called Eventful, and she's been running for a while. And like me, she left her big corporate banking job, left that job to set up an event business. So I started sitting down thinking, why is nobody harassing this woman? Do they know who she is? So I went to her and I said, Madam, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do, and this is what I do. And she said, you know what, roast me 2 chickens and do me a salad for Christmas. It was Christmas. And I did that, and she started giving me jobs and jobs and jobs. And, that's how I started. She started giving me little events here and there to do. Then in between, it was actually a job I was doing for Mrs. Zacchaeus that same night, it just happened. It was decided upon, okay, you can go to Paris. But it happened earlier than expected, thanks to God. And I was on a plane to Paris to what I believe is one of the greatest culinary institutes in the world, Le Cordon Bleu. And that's where I got my certification, and I moved back home. I said, okay, let me revive the business. So in reviving the business, things like Chef Fregz Special happened. I just started getting calls. I just started doing what I wanted to do. Then, I don't know, like they say, the rest is history. So they say I'm a celebrity chef now, but sometimes I look at myself and I say, no. I'm still hustling. I'm still trying to grow every day. Funny enough, in the beginning, it was passion and play. Sometimes you have to make a lot of financial sacrifice, especially in the beginning. I wasn't making any money. You just have to show up and prove your point, because if you don't, somebody else is going to come and shine. I've had to sacrifice or deal with the fact that some friendships I've had to suffer, but my friends understand now. I've also just had to deal with proving myself too. You walk into some places, they ask, who's this small boy? He's speaking too much English. So what, he went to Paris, You get those kind of looks. And then boom, I do the job. Oh my God, it's so nice, so this, so that. Food-wise, people who inspired me to really do food two people I always say, Jamie Oliver and Nigel Lawson. Those are people who really made me have focus in life when it came to what I wanted to do. And my mom, for example, she's been diehard when it came to making sure that I had the best. So that was really exemplary for me.